Picture yourself completely fearless for a moment and bathe yourself in the light of Source, where you know this is my creation. I chose this life. Everything that seems to challenge me is actually here to expand me. If you accept your destiny, your fulfillment, your purpose here, what would be the most exciting sort of path for you? Think about something along those lines, something that you know is calling you forth that you're not fully acting on. And then identify the specific belief that's holding you back, that's making that seem fearful. Yes, the answer is to not listen, but the hack is to completely first hello everyone, can you all hear me? Good. Again, I'm still traveling, so again today I'll be doing some of the controls here, and our setting is a little simpler. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Let's start with short calibration. So take a deep breath. Relax. Take another deep breath. And relax. One more deep breath. And relax. This is, in some sense, a follow-up session on the previous one from 2 weeks ago. Now, you don't absolutely need that to understand this, but it helps to have some more context regarding the single live stream principle. But very briefly, for those of you who may not have seen that session, the concept is that your life is going like a stream, like a river. It's headed towards the ocean. And every stream, every river has its unique challenges, its unique apparent obstacles, its unique twists and turns, so to speak, on its way to the ocean. The ocean representing your union with God, your surrender to God, your emptiness of self, and a fullness of self, capital S. And along the way, you live your purpose, you live your calling. This is your destiny. Your destiny is the ocean, but also your destiny is the river, however it flows. And that's the aspect of your expression, of your manifestation that is unique to the spark of Source that is you. So just keep this sort of visualization in mind, that your life is streaming immer geradeaus. It is, as they say in German, it is always straightforward. Now, it will have bends and stuff, but it's always going towards the ocean. A river never climbs back upstream. And the same is the case for your day-to-day impulses, that the real impulse of your calling, that's calling you forth, which you need to begin to recognize, if you don't already, as this seeking impulse, as this sense of movement forward, as this pool of what excites you, what inspires you, what intimidates you, that also excites you, because what intimidates us also excites us, and vice versa. But to be able to recognize that something, you could say this is life's natural ambition in the form of you. What is life's natural ambition in the form of you? You know, this whole concept of we don't have any ambition and we're just, we're all the same and all there is God. That last part is true. But there is also this unique stream to you. And to dishonor that, to not listen to that, to not act on that, to not be courageous to that, to not follow that stream, causes complications, causes difficulties, causes dis-ease. We don't want that. You want a fulfilling life that accelerates towards the ocean. Okay, that's the basic concept. The previous session goes in depth on this. And today, because I was asking some of the facilitators, do you guys have any sense of what would be a good topic for the next call for people? And I heard from both the facilitators as well as the shepherds in training, that quite a few people were dealing with self-doubt. So, okay, they get this principle of their life stream, and that they, in a sense, just have to let go, trust the flow, and go and execute, go and express, go and be as they are naturally called forth into life. Their natural manifestation, their natural ambition, their natural stream. They get that and they love that principle. However, we're still holding on to those boulders in the river when our stream is just tugging us on us. Because if you imagine holding onto a boulder in the stream, all this water of your spirit, of your soul, of your calling, of your purpose, of why you came to earth, so to speak, is streaming up against your face. You're drowning in your own natural ambition, so to speak, because you're resisting it. You're not going with it. So what are these boulders made of? And what's the big deal about the self-doubt thing that gets you to cling, gets you to not trust this dream? This is what we're going to dive into today. And I'm excited for you guys, and I'm excited for the universe, and I'm excited for the people on earth, because you're going to be more courageous at the end of this call, and you're going to be better equipped, way better equipped to deal with these negative self-talk, the negative ideas, the self-concepts, and so forth. And this is going to serve the whole. And I'm excited for that. So that's my natural ambition in this session. And smoking this beautiful, delicious cigar. Bless you all. So I'm going to share with you guys 3 hacks today. And I'm going to start with the first. Makes sense. But before I move on to the second and the third, I'm going to explain a few things, okay? Because this life is more like Harry Potter than it is materialism based. We swim in a magical field of ether, of energy, and there's all kinds of beings, and there's all kinds of energies and thought forms that live and thrive in these fields. And I'm going to help you recognize that, so that you have a fair chance of living your calling to the fullest, and you're not held back by invisible forces that you don't know how to recognize. And then we'll move on to the other 2 hacks, which more or less have to do with that foundational understanding of this quote unquote magical physical aspect that we're invisibly dealing with all the time, often without knowing it, which is a shame. All right, so let's turn you guys into wizards, courageous, self-surrendered, life stream trusting wizards. A class in the defense of the dark arts. Okay, hack number 1 does not need this introduction or initiation or exposition regarding the non-physical. So let's start with that. And this is also the foundation for the other 2 hacks in a way. And I'll explain later why this is the case. So just pay attention to this first hack. All right, so this hack I've called Admit Defeat. And for those of you who've seen my ancient videos from 10 or more years ago, where I was just a little caterpillar, carrying his webcam around, accepting donations, I spoke about this. I did a long session. It's somewhere on YouTube, but you don't have to go watch that. Maybe you have. I'm going to give you a fresh version of this in about a time span of 20 minutes or so. And if you're familiar, if you've done some of the classes or workshops with Mark Geenan, one of our facilitators, he also touches upon this topic regularly. So some of you are familiar with this, but it's foundational. It's such a cool hack. It's such a quick hack. It's such an effective hack. So it's good for everyone to hear this again. And I'm going to put it in the context of your single, aka accepting your destiny and following your calling. And then in the context of, okay, what are the self-doubts that come up and how do they function in this way? And when your self-doubt comes up, so when you feel a clear natural ambition, a clear natural calling, when your soul is irking you on, so to speak, it's giving you that nudge, it's giving you that tug in your gut of you should this, or this would be really epic, or this would be really exciting. Not so much from the egoic sense of like, okay, I want to go shopping, and although that can also be part of your calling to an extent. But it's not about these things. It's about that, for lack of a better word, it's about that deeper, unavoidable calling that you cannot escape, no matter how much you suppress it, avoid it, try to replace it, try to not listen to it, try to cover it up. It's consistently knocking on your door. It's why you feel like a procrastinator when you're not working on your mission, when you're not following the flow of your destiny, when you're scared of it, when you're doubtful about it, when you conjure up all these boulders in the river, all these concerns that your mind projects, your ego projects path, and there's no business projecting any of that stuff. Yes, you will be challenged. Yes, you will be stretched. Yes, you will be broken open. You will be expanded when you give into your journey. Yes, there will be waterfalls and wild water rides. Your river is not always going to be a little mountain stream. But who doesn't want to go down a waterfall knowing that you're safe? Who doesn't want to go down that wild water ride every once in a while, knowing that you're indestructible? So those doubts are unnecessary, and we're going to outsmart them. And technology and hiccups can be, well, they're part of this etheric field and the non-physical, and these things can also be affected. Just a side note, I might explain this a little bit more later. Okay, so self-doubt, let's outsmart this. Hack number 1, admit defeat. For most of your life, you've been conditioned with ideas that make no sense from the point of view of your soul, that make no sense from the point of view of consciousness, expanded consciousness, universal I am, that make no sense from the perspective of the one infinite creator, from what you really are. So these doubts make no sense, because doubts are nothing but beliefs that go against your stream. That's all a doubt is. When you feel a doubt, and all doubts are self-doubt in the end of the, at the end of the day. But let's say self-doubt, to keep it simple. All self-doubts are the emotional guidance system, because doubt is a feeling, right? You know that you're doubtful. Sure, you can hear that you're thinking doubtful thoughts, but the way you really detect that you're being doubtful is through the emotional guidance system, meaning you're having some kind of a feeling, some kind of an energetic feeling, some kind of an emotion that you recognize as doubtful. It feels like it's holding you back. It's making you scared of the future. It's causing these inhibitions and suppression and lack of freedom of expression and speech and telling it as it is and so on and so forth. And at the core, as the cause of any emotion, is a vibration in the form of a thought, a mental thought form, that is suggesting, that is vibrating in a way that goes against your natural stream, that goes against, if you will, source's will within you, or how God's will wants to flow through your unique expression. So if you think something that goes against that purpose, that destiny, that natural ambition, that stream, if you think something against that, you're going to feel that as self-doubt, okay? Now, what to do when this arises? Because it can be crippling, it can be debilitating. It can feel like you're absolutely tied to that boulder, and no matter how many beautiful sessions you listen to about the glory of your destiny, or the fulfillment inherent in trusting your calling, or the beauty and excitement possible by following that breadcrumb trail or that stream of passion, of true passion. No matter how many sessions like that you listen to, when you're really faced with a belief, not just a thought, but something that you've come to believe is true, and worse yet, something you have become attached to believing is true, that seems to suggest you are not safe, that if you follow your own stream, which is the safest thing you could ever do, dis-ease is only created in all of its different forms when you go against your stream. Your stream contains health, benefit, fulfillment, freedom, abundance, effortless manifestation, joyful, deep, profound relationships, accelerated learning, awakening, and accelerated union with source, or that greater awareness, if you will. So your stream contains it all. It's got it all. That Imargarada stream, that stream that goes always straight forward, that doesn't budge, that's always knocking on your inner door. That stream contains everything you need now, 1 minute from now, 2 minutes from now, 3 hours from now, tomorrow morning, next week, next month, 5 years from now, 20 years from now. So you cannot, with your physical mind, project accurately anything that's going to happen for you. You don't see where your stream is leading you past the next bend. You cannot see past the next bend in your river. But you try to visualize, okay, what's going to happen? What could happen? What could go wrong? And so you get triggered. Your beliefs get triggered. Your beliefs against your own stream. You're not trusting your own stream. And these can be, like I said, truly debilitating. I remember. I know what that's like. It's not necessary in any case because your stream contains everything you need. Right now, 2 minutes from now, 3 hours from now, you got to get this. You got to get this principle. You got to understand this. You got to accept this. Your stream's got everything it contains, everything that you need, everything that you truly want, all the way on its way to the ocean. You're not going to be non-fulfilled at any point. You're not going to be not safe or not protected at any point. You're not going to be ever not shielded in what is the next best challenge and reward and experience for you. But we don't believe this. We've been conditioned with materialism, with skepticism, with nihilism, with modern science. And our worldview has become very much materialism based, very much limitation based, very much linearity based, very much you are a physical independent creature in this alien harsh environment, and you need to somehow make sure you don't die for the next 80 years. And you need to prevent what's going to happen. You need to try to predict what's going to happen and plan your way around these obstacles. This is the completely wrong asshole attitude to have towards your own soul stream. It will not ever work for you. Ever, ever, ever. It will never work. So we've got to get over this hump of mistrust. We have to learn how to stop going against our stream and trust the stream instead. When the doubt arises and it holds you back, you feel it tangibly, it's holding you back. It's like you cannot speak, you cannot move, you cannot do the thing that you know you, quote unquote, should do, or better yet, you are called forth into doing. That is inspiring you, that's pushing you. It's that calling, that stream. When you know you got to do something, take an action or say yes to something or open up, let your barriers down and connect to this person or act on an email that you've got or look something up because it's exciting to you. But if it intimidates you too much because you're conditioned with materialism, linearity, lack of faith, lack of trust, lack of spirituality, and complete oblivion to the non-physical elements that play in your life, ignorance of your immortality, of your true nature, then yes, you're going to project your own will, your own thoughts, your own concerns, your own scheming and planning onto your path. And that's going to cause doubt. That's going to cause those boulders that you cling on while your stream just wants you to go early down stream. So next time that this occurs for you, next time that a doubt arises, or right now, if you can conjure it up, if you can feel just that general feeling of fear, it doesn't even have to be a specific trigger. It can be a general consistent fear that somehow seems to be locked in to your mind, into your system, into your way of viewing life, that has you sort of on edge all the time, that has you projecting danger in the future, even when you're having a conversation with someone. But your subconscious mind is constantly aware of danger, of threat, of needing to predict the future, of needing to avoid certain things, make sure this doesn't happen, make sure that does happen, and so on and so forth. Again, my friends, this is no way to live. I hope you agree. Do you? This is not how we're going to become a powerful army of God, a powerful army of love. This is not how we're going to live beautifully epic testament-based lives, testament-like lives of the Creator's infinite potential. It's not going to happen that way. We need to find this switch. And this is where the first outsmarting hack can become super handy for you. So take that belief, any belief that you can identify, and try to get a little bit more precise with it. So we talked a little bit about this general background anxiety a lot of people have, this fear of the future, of what could happen and what we need to control and avoid in order that we are safe. But try to pick something more specific so we can more precisely work with this hack. And if nothing immediately comes to mind, just think of, what would you really like to do? If you're honest with yourself, picture yourself completely fearless for a moment, completely oblivious to the future, what could happen, and bathe yourself in the light of source where you know, oh my God, I can never be harmed. This is my creation. I chose this life. Everything that seems to challenge me is actually here to expand me, to invite me into greater awareness. And this is a joyful ride. If you accept your destiny, your fulfillment, your purpose here, like that, what would be the most exciting sort of path for you? You don't have to, work it all out, but just that sense, that feeling of, I want to be dancing, or I want to help people understand this kind of stuff. These teachings, for instance. I want people to wake up as much as I have, and maybe even more. I want to express, I want to write, I want to play, I want to create. Think about something along those lines, something that you know is calling you forth that you're not fully acting on. And then identify that feeling of the boulder in your river, where your stream wants you to go, the waterfall, meaning your upcoming challenge, that which intimidates you, because you can't see past the waterfall, right? When you're still on the upper level of the river, you can only see that there is going to be an unknown. You don't know how deep you're going to fall, so to speak. You don't know how high this waterfall is. You don't know if the bottom is filled with water or if it's rocky and shallow. So you project these obstacles. Similarly, you know that along with following your passion, you're going to be challenged. And this scares you, but it needs not scare you. But identify that feeling of, I am scared of my own calling. I'm scared of my own path, of my own destiny. I don't fully trust it. Identify that doubt, specific to whatever you can sort of identify as your calling in this moment. What's the next step of your calling? If you were free and fearless, what would you do tomorrow? What would you start tomorrow? Would you start writing that book? Would you start taking those lessons? Would you start making up with that friend of yours or partner or ex? Would you write a letter to this or that person? Would you start creating videos? Whatever it might be. So identify some aspect of your excitement that you can already sort of sense, and then identify the specific belief that's holding you back, that's making that seem fearful. The thought which contradicts your stream, which is what self-doubt is, or is the result of. Okay, so you have something? Now, See again if you can see what the belief is that produces that particular doubt. And try to put into words for yourself. For instance, it could be something as generally conditioned as I've been hurt in the past, I've been bullied in the past, I've been assaulted in the past, in whatever way, shape, or form. I felt unsafe in the past. I know I'm vulnerable, or I think I know that I'm vulnerable. And yes, this thing excites me, but it seems to be greater than I. It seems to be greater than my current sense of self, my current idea about myself. My self-concept does not quite have the size and power and confidence yet to fully see itself fulfill its destiny. And so it projects these fears and limitations. So I can identify this vulnerability belief, the belief that I am vulnerable, that I have to be careful, that I could be harmed, or that I could be ostracized by my society, by my friends, that I could not be loved and accepted for who I am if I just speak freely and truthfully. Or if I start acting on this path, or if I start, stop my job or quit my job or stop my education and start completely devoting myself to the thing I am most excited about, that has no evidence yet, that has no financial income yet, that has no friends associated with it yet, this new path that excites you, perhaps. Could be a smaller step too, but for some people, the true calling is quite deviating. It's deviating quite a bit from what they've created out of fear for themselves, right? So sometimes when you think of your calling, it can appear as sort of a quantum leap of faith that you have to take. And then especially because you've created such a big gap between your fear-based, mentally conceived life that you've created out of your will, out of your ideas, out of your conditioning, and where your actual soul stream intended and still intends for you to go towards. So the longer you have had those inhibitions and not acted on these things, the farther from home that seems to be, the farther from your comfort zone that can appear to be. But there's always a stream leading you from wherever you're at to get to your destination. It might just be a little bit more non-linear, even less predictable than had you acted on your calling one step at a time from an early age onwards. Because then you'd be, quote unquote, more fully in your path. You'd be more fully in your stream. But if you picture these two pathways splitting at a certain age, and you suppressing your calling with the fear and the materialist points of view and trying to avoid ridicule and ostracization from a diluted collective consciousness. And so you've built this life of safety and security and comfort and familiarity and predictability and control for yourself. If you've done that for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years successfully, quote unquote, then that gap is bigger and bigger and bigger between where you intended to go, what you intended to become and express, and where you find yourself at. Now, you don't need to feel bad about this or fear this, because if you picture those two paths, there's, at any point, at any juncture on your quote unquote safety-based path, your comfort zone-based path that you've created for yourself through not listening to God's voice within you. At any point in that self-constructive journey, there is an access point back into your stream. There is a little stream that goes back to your actual river, your actual life stream. So picture that for yourself. Doesn't matter how long you've resisted your calling, it's not too late to stream back into it. But you do need a leap of faith because you disagreed. You've insisted against what you came here for so long. Shame on you. That now there is no real other way to bridge to that reality but to take a leap of faith. So yeah, that is the reward that you do have to reap for sowing the seeds of insistence against your calling. siding with fear, listening to the fear channels over the calling channel has caused that gap. For some people, that's a bigger gap. For others, it's a very small gap. Some people can't even see what their destiny is anymore. It's hard to feel it. And some people have a clear connection with it, but they just have kind of resisted it. Sometimes they've trusted it a bit, and then they've gone back to safety. Then they take a bit of a leap of faith, then they go back to safety, and so on and so forth. So we're all sort of at different junctures in relationship to our own truest stream. But it's never too late. And I'm here with you to get you back on track ASAP. So let's go. Now, here is the first hack. Admit defeat. Identify this belief system, this narrative in your mind, this doubt-based, safety-based narrative. Let's say the one I used before, I am vulnerable. I feel vulnerable. I believe I'm vulnerable. And therefore, it's not safe to just trust my path without knowing exactly what's going to happen, knowing exactly the obstacles and challenges that I'm going to meet so that I can control my way through it. I cannot just let go, trust the stream, and live my life freely. Because, why? Because I believe that I am vulnerable. We can all identify that as being raised as a physical human creature. Inevitably, you get punched in the face, you hit your toe on a rock, you have an injury, you're going to be conditioned by the senses that you as a body are vulnerable. It's hard to argue with that unless you're enlightened, because then you can see the body is not what I am, right? But from a physical condition, from a physiologically / psychologically conditioned human being that gets punched in the face, both physically, therefore hurting, but also socially, psychologically, emotionally, relationally hurting and internalizing that as I am vulnerable, I'm not good enough, I'm rejected, I'm unsafe, this is a scary place, and so on. So identify that belief. And then I want you, instead of trying to fight it, instead of trying to change it, I want you to completely accept it. See it almost like a little gremlin within your own field, your own mind, your own energy field. And this little gremlin is on repeat. It's got this narrative, it's got this story for you. And it's got all the evidence in the world to back up its belief, right? Because it remembers when you got punched in the face, or when you were rejected, or when your partner cheated on you, or when you lost everything, or when you were treated unfairly, and so on and so forth. So it's got enough evidence in the history of your human experience to back up its claim, its story that it's constantly whispering into your brain, to your mind, that you are vulnerable and therefore not capable or not safe to accept your calling, that you need to control it instead. This is what it's promoting. It's promoting that you're controlling and continuing to insist against your soul stream, against everything that wants to flow through you and come your way and assist you and expand you and empower you to give your message to the world, to be who you are meant to be, who you want to be. It's constantly whispering in your ear like this little demon on your shoulder, little devil on your shoulder, right? So this story, this is a perspective. It's offering you a point of view. You are the view, awareness is the view, and within this view, there is a point of view, a smaller point of view, which uses the greater power of awareness, or the view, that aware being is, your greater consciousness. It uses that platform, if you will, that energy, to construct a tiny little perspective, an angle. It's no longer seeing the whole. It's no longer in the free flow of oneness. It is now partitioning itself and creating this little storyline, this perspective. And it has all the evidence, again, to back up that point of view and why it's relevant. So you're dealing with, it's like you're playing a board game with your own psychology. Like you're playing a board game against this little goblin, this little gremlin creature. The gremlin is promoting you should control your life. You should fear things. You're not safe, and you need it. It's always trying to stay with you. This gremlin is always selling itself to you, its services, and you buy it for the most part. Or maybe you don't. I don't want to say that you do, but most people, for most of their lives, listen to this gremlin and buy its services because it's acting as a false protector. You are vulnerable, and I will keep you safe because I will scheme, I will strategize, I will think ahead, and I will control your path so you can be safe. Take my money, say no more. It's what we do. But we sell our souls to this little goblin guy or girl. And then we pay for it with our lives, meaning we pay for it with the joy, the fulfillment, the alignment of our lives, which essentially is what our lives are. Our lives are not physical things. Our life is alignment. Our life is how aligned are we to what we're actually here to create, to be, to experience, to learn. So make no mistake, selling your soul to this goblin of safety. I'll keep you safe. I'll protect you. You are unsafe. I'm going to protect you. Buy my services. If you buy these services, if you listen, in other words, if you believe it, then you're going to be living according to that, and you're going to be selling a part of yourself. So, yes, the answer is to not listen, but the hack is to completely first listen to the story that this goblin has to tell you. Because if you're not fully aware of the story, you don't even know you're listening to it. I'm listening to a record on that record player, and it's a very specific narrative. It's optional. It's not just life as it is. I have a choice. So you must identify what song you're listening to. When you've done that, when you've identified a limiting, resisting it, again, I want you to fully accept it. In fact, I want you to admit defeat. So if this is sort of a chess game, or this is some kind of a board game between your true consciousness, your free will, and this little gremlin guy or girl that's whispering this perspective of vulnerability and that you need its protection and that you need to control your life into your ears. And if you've been listening this whole time, that's part of your game. Now, I'm going to suggest that you cannot win that game from inside of that perspective. So instead of fighting it, which we unconsciously do, even if you think you're not doing it, we're always resisting these voices because we don't like them. We buy them, we buy those services, but we don't like the services. Because we feel it corrupts us, we feel it perverts us, we feel it distorts us. It's not filled with happiness and joy and true expression. So we don't like it, we resist it. But I want you to stop resisting that story. I want you to accept everything it's telling you. And by acceptance, in this case, I mean you hear it out, okay? Because it's playing a game with you. And in order to transcend the game, you have to stop playing that game. And the fastest way to stop playing that game is to lose that game, not to win it. To win it, you have to go up against a very well-trained psychological master, a tactician, a strategist, whose entire purpose of being, for being, is to give you control over your life. Okay? This is the best manipulator around. It's your own little gremlin in your own mind. So it's going to take everything you have to outsmart it or to win at its own game. But what if you quit? Let's say you're playing this long-ass game of Monopoly with your friends. And you're trying to win, but at some point you're getting exhausted of trying to win this board game. Just as you, after 20, 30, 40 years of misalignment and buying its services, you're getting exhausted with your own fears, with your own control, with your own manipulation and tactics. So when you get really tired of playing Monopoly with your friends because it's been 5 hours, you can persist, you can try to fight more, you can still try to win, but you've got 3 other people playing against you. The chances that you win might be small. And in this case, the gremlin is an expert player of the game it's playing. You're rarely ever going to beat it at its own game. So what's the fastest way? Lose on purpose. Stopping the game by walking away from the game. You say, guys, I give up. Here, have my money. And you're free. And they're still like hovering over the board, you know, going into hour 6, hour 7, wrecking their brains over this controlling game, trying to compete with each other, trying to win. And here you are, free to walk away from this board, free to do whatever you want, free to go take a nap, free to go watch a movie, free to go act on your excitement. All because you accepted defeat. So I want you to accept defeat to this narrator in your mind that's causing these doubts, the fear promoter. Just say, you are right. When you tell the gremlin, you are correct, it's happy. It's happy for long enough to sort of let you go. You know, it hugs its prize. It's like, oh, yay, see, I was right. But in the meantime, you're walking away. You're transcending the game by not caring if you lose the game anymore. So instead of trying to fight this gremlin and beat him at his own game and try to win this argument of whether you are worthy or not, whether you are capable or not, whether it is safe or not, whether you are vulnerable or not, whether you are strong enough or not, whether life will support you or not, whether people will still love you or not. Instead of trying to win any of these belief-based games against your gremlin, which is your opposing player, just say, you're right. I will never be good enough to live out my calling. I will never be safe when I trust my stream, my calling, my purpose, my destiny. Everybody will abandon me. Well, it's unlikely that everybody will, but some people will, probably. You're right. There will be a lot of people that will not love me and that will not praise me and will not like me for what I do and what I say. You're right. And he is right, or she. The gremlin is correct from its own point of view. The goal here is for you not to win the point of view or to prove the point of view wrong. The game here, the real game, my dear friend, is to stop playing those games. Let the gremlin win that point of view, and you will merge back into the view. You will go back to that expanded view. You will have the freedom to walk away from the game while the gremlin is still drooling over its righteousness and its pride.
Massaro University is a vibrant online community dedicated to accelerating your awakening and activating your purpose for the benefit of all. Join live sessions with Bentinho and workshops led by experienced facilitators. Deepen your wisdom, empowerment, and self-knowledge, and experience life-changing shifts week after week. At Massaro University, finding like-hearted seekers is easy and inevitable. Lifelong friendships and a shared purpose fuel profound personal and collective growth. Create your free account today at massaro.university and step into a community that's designed to elevate every aspect of your life.
So say to yourself, if you have these beliefs, if not, then you don't have to say this. But if you identify a belief such as, you know what, you're not worthy. Who are you to deserve this sort of destiny that you're feeling for yourself? It can never happen. Like, who does that ever happen for? Definitely not you. Look at all the past bad luck you've had. Look at all the support you would need to get there. Where are you going to find that? Look at all the money you're going to need to go do that and travel and whatever, create whatever you want to create. You don't have that. Look at your bank account, dude. And you say, you know what? You're right. I don't have the money to start my calling. Okay. I don't have the worthiness. I don't have the power. I don't have the clarity. I don't have the guts. I don't have the courage to act on my calling. You're absolutely right. I accept that from this point of view, you are always going to be correct. It's like a radio station. It will always play jazz. That same radio station, it will always play jazz. You can't change that station's music. You might want blues, but that's a jazz station you're listening to. Similarly, you might want to feel worthy and empowered to trust your live stream. But if you're in cahoots with, if you're playing this game, this antagonistic game, with this point of view within which the paradigm is completely based on not being capable, not being worthy, not being powerful, not being supported. So don't try to change the music that your station is playing. Just tune out of that station. Find another station that plays blues. Similarly, you've got all these frequency domains within your consciousness, from the lower vibratory realms to the highest of bliss and union and so forth. Don't try to change the negativity that exists at a particular level of frequency. It will always exist and it serves a purpose. So why would you want to change that realm of negativity, of self-doubt, and so forth, when it's serving so many people to have that radio station available? Because there's a lot to learn from being falsely imprisoned in that for a while. There's a lot to learn from the negative frequencies, and almost every being will go through this at some point. So why would you want to change that station to bliss? There already is a bliss station. There already is a powerful station. There's already a courage station. And this gets me into one of the other hacks, which is stop listening. But it's the same thing. Admit defeat so that you can stop listening. Admit that this channel will never change. From that point of view, you're always going to be unworthy, but that's okay. That doesn't mean anything. It's meaningless. But when you start fighting it, when you try to change that belief, when you struggle with it and you stand in the mirror and you try to uplift yourself with affirmations, you're playing the wrong game. You're still playing the game of I'm unworthy and I'm going to prove that I'm worthy. And this planet is filled with people, and a lot of the high achievers, all they're doing is they're still trying to prove to daddy that they're worthy. They're playing the game with their gremlin. They're not actually successful in following their calling. Not as much as they could be anyway. Because they're still trying to change the jazz music on the jazz station to blues. It's crazy. Don't try to believe that you're worthy when you're noticing to believe you're unworthy. Don't fight it. Just notice, hey, wait a second. This is a point of view. This is a paradigm. This is a domain of vibrations that will always exist in the universe. Every being can visit it by tuning itself, just like radio station, tuning itself to that frequency. Why would I want to change the structure of the universe with all of its offerings? It's serving so many beings. It has served me, and it will serve me now by transcending it. So you know what? Absolutely, I will never become able to fulfill my calling. I will never be supported. You're absolutely right, my friend. Thank you so much for this beautiful jazz music that you're playing. I actually like jazz, so I'm sorry for equating it to low self-esteem, but you get the point. It doesn't matter. So when you admit defeat, the game is over and you're instantly free. When you find this knack, this little switch that I'm talking about here, this hack, when you learn to apply it, it's super duper powerful. Okay? You're going to be experiencing an instant relief, an instant, I can breathe again. I don't have to play Monopoly anymore. I thought I cared about winning the game, and I thought I would not like to lose this battle of beliefs. But you know what? I don't care. The moment I stepped out of the game, the moment I said, you know what? I am defeated. You are right. I am unworthy. I'm not good enough. I'm incapable. I'm unsafe. Always will be. Forevermore. I need you as a controller. You're absolutely right. The moment you accept that, you say, yes, you're right. You're free. You're out of the game because you lost. You lost. And so you won your freedom back by losing this tiny little game. And this is such a counterintuitive approach that the mind can't really throw up, the gremlin can't really throw up another tactic to dissuade you, because this has never been done before. This is not conventional. Wait, what do you mean you accept defeat? You give up? You resign? Oh, all right. It doesn't know how to grab you anymore. So bottom line, admit defeat. You don't like yourself? Fine. You don't believe in yourself? Who cares? Admit defeat. Lose that game. Don't try to believe in yourself. Oh, it's so tiring to try to believe in yourself. Let it come from a higher awareness. Okay. Let it not come from you, not from the struggle, not from the fighting, not from the board game. Give up. Stop fighting. Take the punch and leave. So admit defeat and be free. Bottom line, admit defeat to your negative beliefs and you're free. Try to fight them and you'll continue to be in that game. Your calling doesn't care if you believe in yourself. It really doesn't. You can still just go with the stream that's calling you forth. You can put your brain on zero. In a lot of the Navy SEALs sort of trainings, they have this concept of lock your brain, shut up your brain. And it's good. It's good practice. Just lock your brain and go take the next most exciting action that you know to take. Just don't think. Don't think about it. Know what you got to do. Lock the brain. Go do it. Because these guys go through arduous training weeks and stuff like that. And they're not looking, their psychology, their gremlin's not looking forward to it. They might be pumped up about the achievement factor and like the challenge of it. But when you have a couple of weeks of trudging through deep mud, carrying 40 kg backpacks and very little to no sleep and little food too, you're not going to be looking forward to that at all levels of your being. So you just got to stop your brain. Don't even project the next day. Don't think about anything. You just go through the motions. You've committed. You've committed because you incarnated. It's the biggest commitment you can make, pretty much. You chose to incarnate. That means you committed to your path. You already committed. Why now are you pulling back? Why now are you scared of what you already committed to? Stop the brain, lock the brain, go for it. One step at a time. Follow that impulse. Don't think about the fears, to control the fear. You're right. It's scary. You're right. It's unknown. You're right. It's unpredictable. You're right. I'm unsafe. You're right. You're not capable. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. You're right. And I know what to do. I know what's calling me forth. I'm going to take action on that next impulse that I feel is coming from my calling. That next impulse. I'm going to stop thinking, stop insisting, and trusting the next step, the next step, the next step. So this hack to self-doubt means it doesn't matter if you have self-doubt. Stop fighting it. And then you're free. You'll be surprised how easily suddenly you like let go of the boulder. Don't care anymore. And you're like, why was I so concerned? Why did I think self-doubt was such a big deal? Everyone has self-doubts. Like it exists at certain frequencies. And this is a good relay into my next topic. So take a few deep breaths. I just want you to integrate my rampage from just now. I know I used a lot of words and I spoke relatively fast and with an eagerness. So you might want that to land for a bit. So take a few deep breaths and just relax into the silence. Let everything I've shared with you resonate within and clear out your fears and give you this powerful tool that you no longer have to fight with yourself. You are now able to accept all your negative self-talk and be free by not playing the game. This is great. You have now integrated this teaching, and the next time self-doubt comes up, it'll be automatic, just like that. It'll just happen. You're like, whoop, negative fear, negative thought, self-talk. You're right. This is scary. Oh, hey, wait a second. I don't feel like I'm at war anymore. All I had to do is admit that, yes, you know what? You're right, Gremlin. This is scary. I don't know what's going to happen. And somehow I feel free. Magically, I feel unburdened. I thought I was afraid a second ago. But now that I admitted that you're right, it is scary, I'm no longer afraid. And it seems almost silly to me to believe in it. More and more, you're going to just transcend like that in the moment, spontaneously. Take a deep breath. Know that this is true for you. You're going to be an effortless, admitting defeat, and therefore being free to flow according to your life stream being, just like that. So, my friends, you as a mind, body, spirit complex. Next topic, by the way. Very related, though. As a mind, a body, a spirit complex, in other words, everything about you, your bodies, your vehicles that make you appear to be an individuated beingness. Because again, remember, from source, there is only source. It is one indescribable, infinite, perfect, timeless source. That's all there is. Nothing else is there for anything to be made out of. So every component of you is not just you, it's all that is. Therefore, you are not just you. You are actually ultimately all that is. And you are the source within all that is, of all that is. So, but then there is this beautiful, intricate expression. It's the extension of the tablecloth. If you remember the analogy, if you pinch a tablecloth, which is one, and you lift it up, you get this mountain shape, you get this protrusion, you get this extension of the tablecloth, an expression of the oneness. That is your mind, body, spirit complex. It's simply a complex but more accurate term for the individual you, the individual expression of source that you typically feel is you, your soul with its mind and body and soul. This mind, body, spirit complex is playing sort of inside of a game, or you could say within its capacity as consciousness, it's projecting a virtual reality. It's projecting a video game-like experience, an hallucination, if you will, a convincing hallucination, which serves the purpose for the creator in you, the source in you, to be able to reflect upon itself, to get to know itself, to test itself, to express itself, to express the limitless potential inherent in its source nature. So this is a great responsibility in a way, without the heaviness, without the burden. It's a great duty, a great honor, a great opportunity to play and express freely, according to the intelligent blueprint of your calling, that which calls you forth, that which interests you and excites you when you don't doubt it. Following that stream, trusting that stream, that's the greatest gift you can give to the creator, the source. Now then, within this game, there's levels, there's densities, dimensions, what have you. It's a complex game. What we see from our physically incarnate mind, body, spirit complex perspective, in other words, from our physical point of view of the senses, and what we're indoctrinated with, this whole materialistic view of life, as if it's based on external objects that really exist apart from consciousness, which has never been proven to be so, and shall never be proven to be so, because I'm telling you it's not so. And so you're in this game, in this wild, vivid, intelligent, rhythmic hallucination, this collective video game, if you will, of your life. Your life is one expression within that video game server called Planet Earth. Now, one of the main causes, this is an important point, and this is the main point I want you guys to get during this session, because it can help set you free. It can help you so much. Before this, you're gullible, you are naive, you are innocent, you are ignorant, you're defenseless. And it's a complex video game. And there's a dark side and there is a bright side. More accurately termed, service to self and service to others. So there's energies in this field, because the whole field is filled with information, with energy, and even physicists and scientists are discovering this in recent, decades, at least centuries. Huh? So this whole playing field, what we see with the physical senses, is minuscule part of the spectrum of vibrations that we are, as a mind-body-spirit complex, playing inside of, projecting ourselves as part of that field, that canvas, that playing field, that video game. But how often do we stop to consider those forces, those energies that we do not, that the senses perceive, but that do have an impact on our emotions, our thoughts, our state of consciousness, our points of view, our perspectives, our conditioning, and so on. When we're so physically based in our conditioning that all we see is the laptop and the microphone and the wall and the room and ouchie, ouchie, and oh, pleasure, pleasure. And we don't see everything between. We don't notice the sea of energy and all the influences that live there. So in a sense, this is a magical video game, meaning it's more non-physical than it is physical. The physical aspect is a very small portion of the vibrations available to us. Now, beyond the individual, none of this affects you, okay? But most of you guys are not yet fully anchored in beyond your individuation. You're not yet completely in that non-dual reality. You're still living in the dream. And therefore, you need to know this also when it comes to your enlightenment, but also when it comes to the fulfillment of your relative expression, your purpose in life, your expression of source. But again, like I said, it's also diminishing your realization of source, your recognition of oneness, your enlightenment, so to speak. So you need to know this. You are being toyed with. You are absolutely being played with. You are playing multidimensional chess against opponents you do not know exist, who play with invisible chess pieces against your tiny little physical chess pieces. You have no clue who you're playing against. You don't even know you're playing against someone most of the time. And when you do, you have no clue as to where to go or what to do about it. Call this unfair if you want. It's the offering that was brought to earth to provide catalyst, in a sense, to the position for a faster acceleration for the souls to learn. I'm just speaking symbolically, but the reality that I'm actually referring to is that you are inundated in an etheric field of energy all the time, in subtle, invisible energies. And just as there is human beings who are able to navigate and traverse or manipulate the physical realm, there are beings that are traversing and existing and abiding in and on and manipulating and affecting these etheric fields, these energetics, that you do not see with your physical senses. So you don't know what you're up against. Actually, imagine playing chess, a chess game. You might even be super good at this physical reality, aka you might be, Magnus Carlsen playing world-class chess. But if your opponent is using pieces that you cannot see, then a 10-year-old child can beat the world champion. So no matter how skilled you are at planning your life and knowing things about physics and physical reality, if you don't know what you're up against, and especially when it comes to your spiritual awakening, the freedom of your expression into this world, the following your calling, acting on it, becoming an embodiment of God's will, you're going to be greatly hindered in this journey. Here's another hack. I didn't write this down, although it's related to the stop listening. So actually, it's part of that hack, you could say. So this is the stop listening hack, but with some added context. The way I would like you to view this, just for a moment, you don't have to make this your entire life view. I don't want you to go crazy with this material and start projecting, negative entities everywhere and gremlins and goblins on the etheric field that's responsible for everything that happens in your life. I don't want you to go into that mode, okay? It's important. You got to keep your balance, got to stay cool, got to stay grounded. However, for the purpose of exercising this, of becoming aware of the invisible, I want you to consider that every negative thought you've ever had, at least the significant ones that make you feel confused, that make you feel separate, that make you feel isolated and abandoned, that make you feel unsure as to who you are, if you even want to live, and anything along those lines. Those thoughts were never, ever, ever, ever yours. Never were. That's not you. I know you. I know every single one of you. Better than you know yourselves, maybe. Well, actually, certainly. But you don't have to believe that. But I know you. I know the real you. Every single negative self-talk you've ever had that was significant enough to make you feel isolated, alienated, depressed, suicidal, confused, deeply insecure, anxious, afraid, was not your thought. None of it. They were offered to you by another being, another energy, another thought form, another type of intelligence that is non-physical. The best way to picture this, perhaps, is that you're swimming in an ocean of different radio stations. Just like our physical radio station are actually non-physical, right? We can't see the radio waves. We don't see the jazz artists floating through the air and then coming into our car and then blasting out of our speakers. Our radio devices is taking a non-physical energy, or at least an invisible to the physical senses energy, and it's translating that. But you're inundated. Your body is being permeated with all kinds of different genres of music. You're never aware of this, but it is affecting. If you have not mastered your mind, and the mind is like the radio system itself, it gets to tune into the different frequencies to decide what type of perspective it wants to listen to. What type of music does it want to hear? What type of vibration does it want to feel? What type of self-concept does it want to hear and believe in? Your mind is a thoughts are vibrations like radio waves that are being transmitted all the time. You're inundated with them. And ultimately, all possible realities exist within the same non-local space-time field. In other words, just like every possible human radio station and genre of music is right now playing through your body, you just don't hear it because it's not to the senses, but it is affecting you. It is here. So too, at a much greater, grander scale, in a much more absolute way, the way creation works is that everything, every reality, every physicalized, seemingly physicalized virtual reality experience, every hallucination that you have that you call your life, every moment, every experience, even what seems to be so material and physical, it's not. It's a hallucination that's crystallized as a result of your consciousness being attuned to that particular frequency that contains that whole holographic projection that you call real. As part of that, there is all kinds of other influences that you are unaware of. And not all of them are benevolent. Not all of them have your best interest in mind. Not all of them would like to see you radiate and shine your light across this planet and awaken millions of other people, because then they don't have any ground to stand on. It would be the same as saying jazz is outdated. Nobody actually likes jazz. Jazz has a discordant frequency. It's out of tune. It's not harmonious. We're going to give the world peaceful, beautiful, classical frequency music only. everyone invested in jazz stations is now going to try to oppose your cause. If in this analogy, jazz represents the lower frequencies, the low self-talk. Again, I'm lacking integrity. Again, I'm lacking courage. I can't do this. I'm such a rotten person. La, la, la. Those are not your thoughts. I know you. And I promise you, you've never had a thought like that about yourself. Those are radio stations. They are carefully crafted by service to self, focused, non-physical for the most part, being. I'm not going to go into why they choose that path or how it's fair and balanced and all that. That's for another day, perhaps. All I want you to know is that this exists. And I want you to look back in your past and uproot every time you have internalized, in other words, the belief that your negative self-talk was actually you or had actually something to do with you. So you internalized the negativity and it became part of the background of your self-concept, making you insecure, making you doubt yourself, making you fear the future, making you feel vulnerable. I want you to disown all of that. Meaning to see that it was never you to begin with. It will never be you. If only you saw your soul, you knew your soul, your essence, your actual nature, as I do, you would laugh your ass off at how small you accept yourself to believe that you are, how much you have internalized ideas that were never yours, that don't even touch your soul, that have nothing to do with the brightness, the light, the potency, the recognition of inherent intrinsic oneness with all of life and the infinite potential of all the frequencies out there that you can dance through, that you can shape, that you can sculpt, that you can express through as a testament to the one infinite creator, a free flow, blissful experience of self, a great, aligned, truthful, awakened connection to your true self. I wish I could just give that to you right now. And maybe I did a little bit. One can only hope. I want you to remember what you really are. You're not the shitty person. You're not this small little 2 legs, 2 arms, physical creature, meat sack. You're not this asshole. You're not this incapable, vulnerable person. You, your real self, quite literally, even as an individual, let alone your all that is self, which is far faster than this. But even your individual mind, body, spirit complex is roughly equal to the potency, the radiance, the brilliance, the magnificence, the denseness of light of a sun. Roughly. The soul is roughly comparative in terms of energy, in terms of capacity, to that body, which is the sun, that expression of source, which is the sun. Your soul is like a sun, an actual sun. It's giant, it's free, it's so comprehensive, it's nonlinear. Compared to that, the idea that you have in the back of your mind right now about yourself, come on. What were you thinking? Remember. Be free once again. Join me under the sun. Join me in the light. Join me in the power that is yours, the freedom that is yours. Do not be small-minded. Give back everything you've internalized in your life as you. Be reborn in the image of your sun-like soul, your blazing consciousness, your inconquerable expression of this light. Or don't, and continue to live a miserable life. Or choose something in between that you're comfortable with. Whatever you want. It's free will and all. You can play this game however you like, my friends. Unconditional love to you. But this is my wish for you, if anything. You don't have to accept this wish, but it's possible. I'm giving it to you. I'm offering this to you, unlike your gremlin, and unlike those negative entities that are always lurking to keep your energy suppressed. And you, because you don't realize you're playing an opponent that's invisible, you think it's all you. You think you're the negative one. You think you're the non-courageous one. You look up to other people, you say, that could never be me. You think you're unenlightened, and so on and so forth. You identify with the small stuff. I'm always going to be an advocate for your freedom, for your true self. And I hope that you start listening to this radio station that I am transmitting on behalf of your soul. But you don't in any way, shape, or form have to. That's the beauty of this game. Take it or leave it. Okay, my friends. Hack 3, as I wrote it here, is to create a powerful decree, which is typically known as a prayer. It's kind of a similar concept. But prayer has some connotations to it, perhaps. And the way prayer has often been practiced, it's not really that direct anymore. It's a little misunderstood. So maybe someday I'll do more of a session on clarifying this concept of prayer. But it's basically a decree. It's a declaration that you're making with your energy, with your intention, that shields you and that purges you from all those radio stations that have nothing to do with you. They can believe whatever they want. Again, don't fight them. But you do want to conjure up the will and the love and the light that is given to you. And this will protect you, so to speak, within this field of infinite influences. This will be your force field, okay? This will be your magical bubble. So I'm going to give you an example of such a decree / prayer that you can use. You can follow me vibrationally right now as I will read this out for you. It's relatively long because I just want you to get a sense of how you can play with the power inherent in you, in intention, and in verbalization also. As somebody once said, I forgot her name, Scofin something, maybe someone can post this, but is your word is your wand, I think she said. And also think about the word spelling, spelling of words to cast the spell. So words do have power because they symbolize something and they represent a vibration. They represent a declaration, I believe, a statement. So I'm going to share this decree with you that I wrote down today to give you a sense of how you can play with your power, how you can begin to fight back to the invisible forces without fighting, but just by producing this field of love and declaring your worth and no longer thinking small. So take a deep breath and relax. Empty your mind. And repeat with me internally, or follow along with me internally. So whenever you feel that there are these negative energetic influences and you're being vulnerable to it, you're feeling susceptible to it, you're buying into them, you feel kind of panicky, you feel kind of confused, you feel scared, you feel filled with self-doubt and negative self-talk, it's very likely that you are, in a sense, being psychically inundated with offerings from these little goblins that love to float along the ethers and find whoever they can to diminish the light. This is your opportunity to train yourself, to awaken, to accelerate your growth and your power. In those moments especially, you should really begin to decree / pray / declare things like this following message. Take one more deep breath. Relax. And I'm going to give you a powerful radio station here. So tune yourself to it. Be empty, formless, and listen to my words if you will. In the love, in the light, and in the power of the one infinite creator, I command that I am the sole occupant of this mind, body, spirit, and of this house and my every environment wherever I may go. I now blast and bathe all influences and strongholds rooted in lesser intentions that may have an interest in my journey, in this love, in this light, and in this indisputable power of the Infinite One, whom is real and my only self. I rest in Source, therefore Source abounds in and around me. Only good comes from me, and only good comes to me. My field is my fortress, and it is impenetrable. I release all allegiance to negative whispers and replace them all, old or new, with the love, light, and power of the one infinite creator invested in me. My energy is clean. My consciousness is clear. My soul is happy, and my heart radiates the purest of love out to all beings with the brilliance and blazing power of 100 billion suns unified into one. All is one. The one is all. I am forever free. Amen. If you state this to yourself with sincere intent, with sincere power, you will feel cleansed. You will feel liberated from these subtle, energetic, invisible strongholds around your field. They cannot stand the power of this light. It's a magical game. Things like this do cast power. They do command your freedom, your sovereignty over mind, body, spirit, house, environment, and so on. You can pray in this way for yourself and for others. You can decree this freedom and this right to own all of your vehicles purely based on your soul frequency in alignment with the one infinite source, and to not listen to any other radio station. Thank you. Much love to you all. I pray for you. I decree for you. I love you. You are free. You are protected. You are under my wings for whatever it's worth, if you want to be. All my love.
Thank you for watching this Bentinho live session. Bentinho now hosts these transformative live sessions completely free, offering profound insights and guidance to support your journey. To attend the next live session with Bentinho, simply visit massaro.university and follow the instructions to create your free account.